This is Bryant 3, a Legare 42. It's a strong, well-fit boat designed for one person to handle it easily, but able to sleep as many as 6 people. The boat has a built-in spray rail, lots of flare, and a hefty skeg. Bryant 3 is a unique Legare 42. And it's also unique on its predecessors, the Salon 40s, in that it has a crowned cockpit roof and a flybridge. The flybridge is a lightweight version that allows disassembly and to put it on the foredeck for transport down the road. We have it temporarily up now because we did take it off to bring it inland. It has a canvas surround to give it a little bit more attention to detail and is a very comfortable bridge to be on. Bryant 3 has rails that come all the way back to the cockpit, and there's a rail in the cockpit to grab a hold of. There's no place on the boat you can be without having a rail available to you. The boat has a tuna door or transom door that makes it easy to bring on groceries off the dock, or actually bringing in a tuna, I suppose. But it's very comfortable to have that door, especially if you have dogs. The flybridge has aluminum rails all the way around, and those are double rails with a full-size cockpit to bridge ladder. The boat is a full keel down east design, so it has a fairly flat section aft that will plane at about 12 knots. Fully protected propeller. It has a 5-blade on there now, but there's a 4-blade that comes with the boat. The boat has a lot of flare, it's fairly dry, and there's a built-in chine here to keep the spray down. The boat also has a bow thruster, and the bottom of the boat's been barrier coated and it doesn't have a lot of bottom paint on it, so it's fairly smooth. Here's a good view of the starboard side. The boat is all gripped in forest green, and there are some sections of the boat that need to be repainted. There's a series of scratches from docks here that you can see. It's possible to do a patch repair rather than repainting the entire boat, because the sections of the boat that do not have marks are still in good shape. Again, it's forest green with a red stripe, clean bottom. The port side is generally very good, except for some scratches that are right in the middle here. We think that some of those will probably come out because they look like fender marks. But if you're doing a repair on the starboard side, you might as well do the repairs on the port side. Again, it's forest green, all grip. The transom looks like it's in good shape. The swim platform looks like it's in good shape. The boat is set up with davits for an inflatable, but it's possible they had St. Croix davits later, or even the kind of davit that allows the boat to come up on its own bottom and be launched. On the Legare 42s, the swim platform is actually part of the hull. So what we see here is a 42-foot long boat with a top part of the hull cut back to allow for a swim platform. There is a section aft starboard side where we have the 545 primer showing through. That area needs to be repaired with paint. The interior of the boat is very large for a 42-footer. The forward V-berth has storage, 3 lockers per side, each his and her lockers, and a giant storage locker underneath of here. And currently there's a cushion in there for the settee up above. The berth itself is a little bit bigger than a full. It's got a custom high-quality mattress here, and the forward cabin is set up to be heated by the Webasto diesel heater. So in the wintertime, it's a very comfortable place to be. There's an overhead hatch here for lots of air, and there are port lights that are non-opening but do let in light on either side. Aft of the forward cabin, there is a up and down berth that fits me, and I'm 6'2". The bottom one's a little bit wider than the top one, but both are great for adults and certainly will fit grandchildren. There is a port light, 2 port lights up here, and an overhead hatch for ventilation, and there were drawers and storage underneath. I've also seen these boats convert the bottom section into an office or a chart table that can be reconverted into a berth, and that's possible for you to convert this if you want to. The head has an overhead hatch as well. The boat is very well ventilated and has 2 port lights. There's the closet here is actually all for electrical, which I'll show you. A head, push button electric, hot and cold pressure water, storage, and there's a tile floor, and right here is a full shower that you walk into. That's a pretty good size shower. The door itself is a pull door here. One of the big things you look for in a larger boat is a stand-up shower stall, and this boat certainly has one. Very comfortable, totally separate from the rest of the head. The forward cabin has a door, and it's possible to change inside the forward cabin. You don't have to be in the main hallway. And it is truly a separate cabin that's isolated from the rest of the boat. So you do have this cabin, you have the up and down berths, and in the main salon there's a convertible settee. There's good access to all the electrical in the boat. There's a very large closet here, and you could put navigational computers and other things in here if you needed to ever do any upgrades. But the galvanic isolators in here, all your bus bars, a lot of the fuses, and most of your wiring is accessed here, and it's all marked. One of the big advantages of this boat is the dual companion seat that's here. There's a full work surface for navigation or laptops or whatever you're doing, but the person that is not driving can certainly be sitting here for hours and hours on end. And there's room here for 2, and there is a sliding window here that opens up, and plenty of visibility, sitting up high, easy to see everything that's going on. The Legare 42 has its own steering station. That's your own private space, and it has a single seat. It's easy for you to be in here and do everything you need to do without other people being right next to you. The plotters here, the autopilot, depth sounder, all the electrical controls, the throttle, and the engine instruments, as well as the bow thruster and the wheel, are all within 1 arm's reach. All the pilot house windows have really nice Bali retracting screens. So you just move them where you want, and they work very well. So each one of the pilot house windows has this kind of shade. Over the pilot house is a forward-facing Bowmar hatch, which is unusual for a boat with a flybridge, but it's great. It allows a lot of really good ventilation in the boat and doesn't obscure the functionality of the bridge when you're on it. The main settee converts into a double. It's also up at window height, so it's very easy to see out the windows. It is elevated, so you could actually use this as a seat when you're underway, and you could see forward and outside. And there's a lot of space in the boat for people to sit here, up forward in the helm seat, or even in the love seat on the starboard side, and everyone has their own territory. The galley in the boat is pretty simple. It can be modified to be a more elaborate galley, but the seller wanted something quite easy to maintain. There's a 2-burner 110 stove here, so you'd run your generator, you'd be plugged in to use it. There's a deep sink, and there is a convertible settee here. This actually goes up and down, and there's a seat here or a shelf. What you can do in the future is you could put a 2-burner stove and oven here and have more cabinetry if you want, and other Legare 42s have that, and that can be converted. It's just carpentry. Julia Bryant 3 is actually a aft cockpit motorboat, so there is an aft cockpit. There's a giant swim platform here, very, very large, all kinds of options for putting a dinghy. 2 giant hatches here, side lockers, back locker. This is here in case you want to bring a dinghy up on the edge if you didn't want davits. It's a crown cockpit floor with channels. Water runs off to either side. There are hold downs in here for various things. There is a winter cover that goes in the cockpit if you want to winter on the boat, that keeps the snow out and has a zipper to go in the door. It's a very large cockpit. You could put an enclosure here if you wanted to, and you could have chairs, table, whatever you need. The foredeck is quite expansive. There's room for 2 anchors here. There's a built-in anchor locker, road locker right underneath where I'm standing, and then there are 2 side lockers for additional anchor road and extra gear that you want to carry. There is a Barney post here. There's a cleat probably every 6 feet all the way down the side decks. It's easy for you to have fenders and not obstruct the walkway. Lots of room up here to put things. I know they have carried a dinghy up here, but that's kind of big to do that. But there's lots of sunroom and so forth. You can see there's a hatch here, a hatch there, and a hatch. So it's a very visible boat. One of the things that you need to see here is this is a stainless steel rail. And this is different from other Legares and Fox Islands in that it doesn't exceed the beam of the boat. The other ones do, so you can actually pop them off by hitting a dock. It's also stainless steel. The other ones are aluminum. So this is custom to this boat. It's a very valuable thing to have. The other rails are everywhere, and those are aluminum. Here, here, and on the sides. The side decks are very well protected. It's easy to walk. Again, we got the stainless steel rail here. We have places to hold here. All the cleats are on the side for your fenders, so the fenders aren't going up here or anything like that. And molded in non-skid, there's a rail attached here. So even in rough weather, it's a pretty safe boat to get forward on. You could also go through a forward hatch, but walking up here is easy to do.